Hey, what is going on, guys? RPM Slayer here, bringing you a 65-1 double swarm gameplay. I'm playing some domination on the map standoff using the PDW with silencer and laser sight. Pretty generic class, but it's a pretty decent gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoy that in the background. What I'm going to be talking about today is my full review for the movie Iron Man 3. Now, I recently saw this, and then I went and downloaded it illegally. Oops. And I watched it again and again. And basically, I'm gonna first of all give you my rating, and then so you know how this review is gonna go. If it's gonna go good, or if I'm gonna say it's a bad movie. So first of all, my rating for Iron Man 3 is a 7.5. But just to put it, in sort of an easier way to understand, my rating for Iron Man 1 would be probably an 8.5 to a 9, and Iron Man 2 probably 6.5 to a 7. So it's about in between. So I wouldn't say it's the worst in the series, wouldn't say it's the best. But basically, when I went to see it, there's a lot of things I didn't pick up on. But and quickly, sorry, just before I get into the review, there will be spoilers. I'm sorry if you haven't seen the movie or you don't want it to be spoiled for you, but go see the movie, come back, watch this, and then just see if you agree with what I'm saying. But overall, let's start. So, Iron Man 3. Now, this takes place after the Avengers. So Iron Man or Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr. Another brilliant performance by him. He's never ceases to amaze me. He's really traumatized, and people think he's got PTSD. I think he's just being a baby, but I reckon he's got. People say he's got PTSD from the experiences of the Avengers. Fighting all the aliens, going into the wormhole, living through it, meeting all these interesting people. And the argument with that I have, which is actually a big theme throughout the movie, is he's having a lot of panic attacks, which you never see Tony Stark have panic attacks. He's generally under control. But what I don't agree with that is because he's been 2 Iron Man movies obviously before this one, and he fought some pretty decent villains, and then he loses it at Aliens, which honestly, more like, I'd honestly feel a bit worse fighting myself. Like in the other 2 movies, it was more like he was fighting himself, because they were guys in suits, whereas the aliens from Avengers, they weren't really in suits, they were pretty easy to kill, and he seemed pretty under control in the Avengers. It didn't seem like he had any traumatizing, moments in the Avengers, so I don't know, I think they just had to do that because they needed to show that he's a man and men can crack, I suppose, so he does kind of crack, but it starts off with him testing the Mark 42, and this is another thing I don't get. So, at the end of Iron Man, in the end of the Avengers, which is the most recent point that we've seen the character Iron Man or Tony Stark before Iron Man 3, he barely created the Mark 7 suit, which is, if you don't know what it is, it's like version 7 of his Iron Man suit, and we see it comes out in a little ball, flies through the window, and saves him while he's falling, gets on him while he's falling down Stark Tower. And then at the start of this movie, alright, so let's base that it had to be around a couple of months to a 2-year difference between the Avengers and Iron Man 3. And then between Iron Man and the Avengers, Iron Man the first one and the Avengers, probably 3 years, give or take. So he made 7 suits, 7 Iron Man suits in that time, and then it took him however long it took him from the Avengers to Iron Man 3 to make 42 minus 7. I don't even know what that is. Holy crap, I'm bad at math. 35. So, okay, I'm retarded. 35 suits he made. 35 Iron Man suits. It's incredible. And yet they don't seem to have changed that much. The only real difference with the Mark 42 that we've noticed is that he can call all the parts to come in separately, which is honestly pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty awesome. But the problem with the Mark 42 is pretty much after the Mandarin, which I'll get to in a minute, attacks his house and he flies away, we know the suit isn't battle ready, but the fact that he's wearing his vibranium reactor, which is the reactor that, we see that he gets electrocuted by Thor in the Avengers, and he's sitting at 400%, and that's like pure electricity hitting his Iron Man suit. And that's pure electricity going into his Iron Man suit, which would cut the power amazingly. And yet, after a couple of hours of flying, and he was unconscious, and he made it upstate from. He made it to Tennessee from Miami, so that's not too far away. And he's already down to 5% power from from the suit. So the suit's pretty much dead from there. Don't expect to see the Mark 42 impressive again, because it just died. It's a dead suit. But what I don't get is why the Mark 42 ran out so fast. I mean, I know it drains more power than his other suits, but really that much? And like, not only that it's not combat ready. Like, it's only a prototype. But why? Why would he make a prototype? It's not like he's not going to be using it. He's going to be using the Mark 42. I guarantee when you made the first suit, it wasn't a prototype. It was battle ready. Like in the cave in Iron Man 1, he didn't make a prototype of that suit. He made the suit battle ready. Same with the Mark 2, which was the silver one, which is War Machine, or the Iron Patriot for God knows what reason. There was never prototypes of that, or the Mark 3, or any of them in fact. But somehow there's a prototype of the Mark 42. So that's what I don't get. I think that was just a way to cover their tracks and make it so the Mark 42 was being able to be used, but not being able to be used, if I can say that. But anyway, let's excuse that. The Mark 42 pretty much runs out of charge. He ends up in Tennessee, and where he's trying to go to uncover the whole mystery of these bombings without shell casings. And we turned out that it's from the comic book idea of Extremis, which I think it's called Extremis, which is basically what they basically fix the body. It's a liquid, a red liquid that goes in your body, and it basically regenerates body parts. I think it taps into part of the brain that's responsible for regeneration, and it regenerates the body. And so for some reason, I don't know why, but when you're hot or you get too angry, you explode when you've been worked on with Extremis. So sure, okay, you're allowed to explode. So the Mandarin is using these people who have been who he has infected, I like to say, with Extremis, to blow up stuff and pretend that they're actual bombs. But of course they have no bomb casings. Tony Stark knows this, so he goes to investigate. And basically, he starts to remember his past. And basically, at the beginning of the movie, it shows a clip from 1999 when they're in Switzerland, and this is Aldrin Killian. There's this guy, it's Aldridge Killian. I said that completely backwards. Aldridge Killian, played by Guy Pearce, and he has this idea of AIM, which is something mechanics. I forget bloody name. It's AIM, right? AIM. And he shrugs him off, and he's he's not crippled, but he can't really walk. He's got a walking stick, and he's like 30 odd. So yeah, he's kind of crippled. And what we can assume is that he used Extremis on himself after Tony Stark, pretty much ditched him, because he said he'd meet him on the roof. And keep in mind, he was absolutely drunk, like as drunk as fucking 1999, because this was before Iron Man, before the cave, before everything. So yeah, so basically Guy Pearce develops a hatred. I'm gonna call him Aldrin Killian. So Aldrin develops a hatred towards Iron Man, which is fair enough. I mean, he ditched him, and that's a cruel thing to do, especially because I kind of really feel bad for Aldrin Killian at the beginning of the movie, but then towards the end I start to hate him. But anyway, so he sort of designs the Extremis and infects all these people with it. And so where does this... And I'm talking about Aldrin Killian as if he's the enemy, but we're told that the Mandarin's the enemy. And the Mandarin, played by Ben Kingsley, what a terrific performance. Clap to Ben Kingsley. It was a beautiful performance of the Mandarin. But he basically... he's portrayed as a terrorist, or a teacher, as he says. And he's unstoppable. He keeps bombing and trying to teach the president lessons. And basically, when Tony obviously winds up in Tennessee with a half-dead Mark 42 suit... actually, yeah, I'm going to continue this commentary in the next gameplay. I will see you guys in the next gameplay. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.